Hello, everybody. Ryan Carpenter here with No BS Golf, presented to you by P45 Knuckle Down Golf. Today is a special day. Finally, it ain't just me all the time blabbing my lips at y'all. I got a special guest coming in, and it's real important that I have him and some other fellows coming up here soon. I can talk to you all day about everything I want to with this whole golf thing, but sometimes it's good to get a little different perspective. And I know being new to this area, especially, it's even more important. And so I'm going to start to have some of these guests on from time to time. Eventually, may grow it into just talking about other stuff. But today's point is I wanted to have someone come in and talk to y'all and give you his perspective because he's been through this process with me. And it's a ways back, but it was a lot of years of work. I'll tell you that much. But anyhow, I'm not going to talk too much. I'm going to give the mic over to this is Regan, one of my former students here that's with me today. And I'm going to kind of let him go about giving you his perspective. I'm not even going to try to script it or nothing. It's just going to be kind of him talking about what he went through, the good, the bad, whatever his version he wants to tell y'all, to give you a feel for what it was like to be a student of mine. Oh my God, here we go. So, anyways, Reagan here came to me a number of years back when I was at Galt Tech in Kansas City. He was a young fella in high school. And like most y'all young fellas, don't you lie about it, y'all. I'm gonna play on the PGA Tour someday, Ryan. Like, no, you ain't. Not anytime soon, you ain't, anyways. But no, that was a serious goal of theirs. And I said, well, here's where that starts: evaluation lesson. Figure out what's going on, what it's going to take to get there. We're going to put the whole plan together in place today. And by the time we came out of there, I think I could be wrong. Him, mom, and dad might have had a different perspective. So, anyways, that's why the evaluation is important. We've been through that. Now we're going to hand it over to Reagan. I want him to be able to kind of take it from there and explain, what they were thinking and hoping for after they went through the eval and then the process itself and kind of over the years, because we worked for a number of years together and it went down many different paths in his life of eventually trying even for some professional golf for a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, you take over, Reagan. Welcome in. Glad to have you, man. Really happy and excited about this.
Yeah, no, this one means a lot. It holds a special place for me just on the journey. It's been a long road for you and I for sure. I remember walking into the bay thinking, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I quickly realized how much of that road I did not know. But, first and foremost, just getting started, I was young high school pup. I think it was sophomore year how we really came about. I had gone through a couple of coaches before and just really hadn't seen us. One was a plan, and then two was an expectation. But bigger point was definitely the plans. I mean, we started on that very first initial evaluation, and it was like a whole different world of technique, ripping it apart, and then really seeing, all right, if this is our ultimate goal, let's put in some other goals in between. So, coming in shooting low 80s, mid 80s, but I mean, still just having sporadic. I remember this horrible miss to the left, and then if it was going right, it was going way right. To reach the levels that I wanted to, that neither one of those worked. But so starting out as a pup, and I think, like I said, sophomore year, I remember you saying after the eval, it was about an hour and a half, and my parents, specifically my father and I, decided that the knowledge was there, the proper constructive criticism was there to not only help me grow as a golfer, but really, really go down a set path, um, and consistent accountability, which I think is something that was lost back then, and it's way lost now. So I mean, going through, I think I saw at minimum 7 coaches before you, Carp. Um, but really sitting down and seeing everything be built around what we were going to do was good.
Sorry.
So, on that, and with that being said, I mean, we tore it apart for an hour and a half. that was that initial eval. And I thought I knew a lot about the golf swing. I thought I had a good golf swing. And to my credit, I had some good things, but also to my credit, I had some terrible bad habits. So being open minded to that, and then you coming along, I think one of the biggest things were you took the good with the bad, and then got to know me and my tendencies, and changed what worked into just making it better. But with the caveat of, again, this is our schedule. What can we commit to? And I remember committing every day, a certain amount of hours. Obviously, this was high school, so I didn't have much going on. But it's a testament to, if you're getting involved with, you and coaching, what are you willing to put into it, and that's what you'll get out of it. So I think we did that over the course of the next year. And I went from low 80s, mid 80s to about 2 to 3. I'd say handicap 2 to 3 in a year, but it was consistent every day, mirror, reflection work. I mean, just regardless of whether it was indoor, outdoor swings, and constant reevaluation. Are we here? Are we there? Camera work. And then going outside. That's not even counting outside. The first 4 to 6 months, I didn't even go outside. Obviously, being in Kansas City too. So it was cold, and we used that opportunity to really just break everything apart, which, I can speak from my own experience. That was something I wasn't comfortable with, but you and I talked, and you said, are you willing to break it all down to be better and be in a better position? No pun intended, swing position and everything. I said, yeah, absolutely. That's what it takes. And we did that. Massive changes, but incrementally done over scheduling and practicing different sessions and things like that. But we got that from the eval, and myself and my dad, coming out of that eval, knew a very clear cut difference. Every other coach had wanted to do things, but either no execution or no set plan, and then no set kind of benchmarks, if you will, on how to do it. Where you had a constructive, if that's what you want to do, that's great. Here's how we're going to need to do it. And if you don't want to do that, then that's not where you're going to go. So it wasn't for everybody, but I can tell you now, I'm glad I chose that route. Even the financial sacrifices too, because it's not the cheapest for anybody. But now, I mean, even in my corporate sales roles that I'm currently holding, I get invited to golf, and a lot of business comes from my golf game. So, for those business guys that want that, and you're in the right spot there too. So you just never know, and I think that's the beauty about golf. But back to it. That's how my experience started, and then I think that very next year, I wasn't playing consistent varsity golf beforehand. I was consistently varsity after that, top 1 or 2, if not 3, for the next 1 to 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, other than an injury here and there. And then we progressed, and then we even got to the college ranks, and we kept that going. Walk on freshman year, and then scholarship second year. So consistently getting better, but over the course of 4 years at that time, consistent work and consistent time and sacrificing, and I mean, not just the golf swing too, but then we added in the fitness regimen and everything else like that to go along with it. So struggled a little bit in college, kind of with a couple different injuries on that front, and then really kind of just didn't know which route to go, what we were going to do. And then I said, let's give it a go. And then albeit life happens too. So trying to travel and play golf and everything. But, to your testament, Cart, I mean, you never wavered. If I called, no matter where I was, let's get you on video. Let's check in on it. Let's do an adjustment here. What does this do? What does that do? And then again, game plan. Okay, let's break this to redo this. We're going to have to get a little worse, and it's going to feel weird. But again, and this is a testament to you, you made it so you're going to feel this, but it's really this. It was always feel versus real. So I had that to go back on, and I had that trust. And then eventually it would come around no matter what, as long as I did the work. A coach is only as good as the student, and the student's only as good as the coach, and with how much work you want to put in. And then I think after a few years there, then it was really okay. And I'm not going to make it. Not only that, I don't want to. I am tired of this road. My body is done for all the hours and training and sacrificing and everything else like that. It was a joy to be like, I'm done. I'm done. I want to move on with my life and hang it up, so to speak. But all by the age of, I think, 27 at the time. So that's kind of my golf journey with especially you as my primary coach. For the better part of 8-9 years is what it accumulated to, on and off. Yeah. So I wouldn't have traded it for anything. And now even our discussions about the golf world and how the landscape has changed, from college recruiting to all of these different things and money and live and just different gamuts of what the golf world has done and how it's changed is unreal. So, but I can say again, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I would not trade another coach even now. So, that's a huge testament, and the sacrifice it paid dividends. I still tell my dad now, thank you for that, because like I said, I mean, the business meetings that I get to I'm going to one tomorrow. My Friday is going to be spent on the golf course, talking shop and everything else like that. So, you don't get invited if you suck. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So, that's good. I mean, it's definitely paid off for sure.
And your dad, I'm gonna jump in. Your dad on day one thought I was crazy too.
Yeah. And well, and I will say this to everybody that sees this now. I had the dad that wanted it now. He did everything, and God willing in his power to give me the tools and the resources. I'm very blessed for that. But he also did not have the right expectations for what this game really takes. And that's anybody who wants to be decent at anything, right? But golf is one of those where how unbelievably difficult it is to get incrementally better. And you have to suck before you get better at golf. So, that's a big one. But, at the same time, he did fall in line eventually with the understanding of what we were doing, and then saw the results, and then trusted the process. I would tell him numerous times, you got to trust the process. You got to trust the process, as hard as it is. But, and for anybody out there too, I will tell you, if you're going to see a coach, Ryan has that way of saying, okay, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. It's going to suck, but feel versus real is ingrained in my head, because then it starts to really get there. And, you've been around so much. I remember sitting on the range and working through so many of those issues, and then starting to see, okay, the one thing I will tell anybody willing to listen is, I remember going through range sessions and we changed one thing, and I'm damn good at this game, where I felt like I was going to miss the ball. And I'm not talking by a little, like pure free throw airball type miss. And then looking at you going, what did you just do to me? But, trusting in the process, trusting in the leadership, trusting in the coaching. And again, it would come back around, and then it would be even better. And then it was repetition to not produce perfect, but to produce consistent. And that's I don't I didn't have that with a lot of coaches, if any, to be honest, until it was us putting that grindstone. The other thing that I think was beneficial for me, and that I can do a testament to you as you you wanted to see success in whatever the realms were, and you were bought in just as much as I was bought in. And that's something that you can't have. Like, you took the coaching to a level of, you're here, I'm here. I'd call me, video it, send it to me. If I can't get to it right there, I'll be right to it, and then I will call you right back. Like, that's the testament to your dedication to your students. So that made that financial sacrifice that much easier. It was like that. Hey, I mean, I remember calling you. I think it was after a tournament or something. I was traveling on the road. I think it was like 9:30 at night. They're like, "What happened?" I was like, "It sucked." So 36-hour day, 36 whole day. And we are like, "All right, well, that's great. Let's talk about it." So, it was immediately like, whether it sucked or whether it didn't suck, let's go over the good, let's go over the bad, let's touch bases. And this is coming from, that was, I think, a amateur qualifier into a pro event. I think that was a Monday qualifier. And, you know, we immediately discussed it, immediately talked about the next game plan, the next step. So, that's not for everybody. That's not for every level. Don't get me wrong. But that, again, that's the type of testament of that's just the coaching in general, you know. So, and I'm eternally grateful for.
Yeah. Well, you've heard it a million times, but it's you're gonna get out of it what you put in. And no matter what, I'm gonna give 110 times more than you're gonna give if you're willing to do it. And I think we may not have full time today to get to all this. We may do a part 2 and 3, but I know by far one of the biggest hangups, hands down, financial is one thing. Yeah, that part has to get figured out on the individual basis. But a lot of people teeter on the whole commitment part of it because they're not either sure because they don't know where it's going. If you could say, looking back now, not going back and saying from back then, but at this point, because you've been through this so many dang years now, if you could tell somebody else an easy way or something, I don't even know how to word it, but if they were teetering on mainly the part of, do I really want to do this or not? What would be something you could say that would maybe ease the pain, if you will, of going, look, I don't even know where I'm going to be in 6 months. Like, there's a year. What are you talking about here, coach? Like, what could you say, if anything, to that?
I mean, it's real simple. I mean, look at everything else you've done has gotten to either this point. You don't know. Like, if I look at my past 6 months on a schedule, and if I've had no system put in place, but then somebody comes along and has the system, has the tools, just like a business standard, standard operating procedures, and it's going to incrementally put me here to get me results. If I've done it this long for however, and it's gotten me to this point, and most people are probably going to be like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I've gone. I've gotten better here, but I haven't gotten better here, but I haven't gotten better here. Like, just floundering in incremental ebbs and flows, but they're not really, really like taking it from this level to the next. Easy.
So,
If you really want success, whatever your level of success is in this game, to be able to go out with your boys and take their money, or to be able to go out with your kids and have fun with them, or if it's a business and you're getting on a lot of charity events, you're out in these associations, and you want to play good, and not only that, you kind of want to earn some business at it. It's a no-brainer. This is golf is that universal game. You look at retired athletes, NBA guys, business guys, they're not playing any other sport after they're done, folks. They're not. What one are they going to? golf.
Mm-hmm.
Look at everybody. Look at I can't remember the ex guy. He literally went back to college and joined a college team.
Yeah, Smith or something, or
Yeah, J.R. Smith. Yep,
yeah.
thank you. If that guy who's played in the NBA for 14 years, imagine the high level of coaching that he's been around, but yet he went back to his college, joined his college golf team, and hired a coach. That should tell you.
Mhm.
That's a multi-millionaire.
You know,
You know,
it's funny you say that. Him and Phelps did a quick little internet thingy, and he said, "Here's why we're here, folks. This game is impossible, and we come from sports where we attained almost perfection. We seek
almost
perfection in everything we do, and this game is the truest test because you're never going to achieve it."
nope, never.
But that's
And
why
it's
they love it, because
yeah,
it's elusive to them, and it's something they can still do to challenge them enough to keep them challenged in their lives. And that's what it's all. They're not trying to win necessarily a US Open. They just love the constant challenge that it presents.
yeah. Because golf is that.
Mhm.
So I mean, if that doesn't tell you, enough, there's not, then you don't want it. You
And,
don't see it.
and to go back a little bit on what you said there, it doesn't matter what your goal is. The question is this: do you want to have the little tidbits of sort of better, not better, sort of better, not better? Or do you want to make a long lasting, significant jump in your game? You're 100, you go to 90. You're at 80, you go to 70. You're decent at the club, you can shoot 75, but you want to go play in the US AM and qualify. Like there's a lot of variations to what the goal is. The question becomes, do you want it to be significant or not? That's the true question. And for the players that do, that's where this all comes into play. What I've done with Reagan, what I've done with hundreds of other players in the past, there is a way to do it. And I think that's the biggest problem is that my guess is, I don't know, because we don't get this kind of feedback, unfortunately. I wish we did. A lot of players, I think, are second guessing, going, I don't know if that's really true. I don't know if that can happen.
Well, I think the one thing that I did too that I can say, well, because you and I had a very clear cut conversation, um, and how I did it, I can't speak for anybody else, but how I did it was, okay, you're my coach. I didn't go on YouTube to look at videos. I didn't phone call anybody else. Um, I bought into the system. I bought into this is what we're doing. There's no other. I'm going to give it everything until we get to a point where we've done everything now and we're not moving. That's okay. That's cool. Hands up. We're now we need to look at a different avenue. But other than that, it was blinders on. There was no other phone call I was making. There was no other distraction that I was taking. And it was as hardcore as you can possibly damn near get, almost like an army type feel. It was no, this is the direction and this is the team. If it doesn't deal with the team or this direction, I don't have time for it. And I think nowadays people have just this fleeting idea of, well, let me try this. This guy over here is telling me this, or that guy said this, but and it looks right, but I don't know. And it's like, okay, well, where did he get that from? So there's this massive wealth of knowledge, which is fantastic, but there's also this massive wealth of just misinformation, and you're like, what am I supposed to do with all this? And then if you're a tinkerer, like a lot of players are, they'll see one thing and then they'll go try it. Oh, it doesn't work, so I'm going to go try something else. Oh, it doesn't work, so I'm going to try something else. When 9 times out of 10, what they're trying isn't even a problem if they actually have a coach that looks at it. And then, again, going back to a professional athlete, that's why those guys hire coaches. They are so good. And this can be just applied to anybody. If you want just to make it simpler, you hire somebody to know what they know to keep you within the rails, whatever your goal is. But it's easier then to say, okay, that's my expert. right there. That's who I call.
Takes it
Nope,
off
you're
your
not.
plate.
Yeah, I mean, you're not doing that, so don't even worry about it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That makes it a hell of a lot easier than just going absolutely haywire and trying out whatever. Like, it's again, and it goes back to business. It goes back to I use this all the time. I'm like, what are we throwing at the wall to see what sticks? Because that doesn't work. It just doesn't. So, and this now actually saying all of this too has made me really, really realize I have taken so much of what your coaching did and I've thrown it into real life.
Become part of life. Yeah.
So, again, I took it to the utter extent of literally, I mean, if I wasn't in school, I was practicing. If I wasn't practicing, I was in the gym.
Yeah.
If I wasn't in the gym, I was trying to sleep. Uh, I mean, if I couldn't sleep, I was in front of a mirror practicing. I remember at like 1 o'clock in the morning one time getting ready for a tournament, and I'm sitting in front of a mirror, you know. So that's not, again, it's not for everybody. It's not everybody's goals. But, I think for anybody that wants to get better, um, hands down, I got the guy. I got the guy.
And
So
it's just part of the process, and it's being willing to simply accept it is what it is and just do it. And having people get to that point is the tough part, especially when they don't know, because they don't have the Regans walking around here and this where I'm at now to be able to say that. They have to take me for my word, and that's not always the easiest thing, and I'm okay with that. I can accept that too. But it is, it's I don't feel like there's any real limitation to anything as long as there's effort. If there's the commitment and then there's the effort, then I know we can go. Like what you found out is what I didn't say in day one, and I wanted to is look, pro golf is hard because even at that point, you may have to not only do all the work, but you might be having to support the load with money too. And it gets to the point where it's brutal. It is a brutal, brutal road. And you found that out the hard way. But the good part is, like you and Trey, is you guys also gained enough of an ability in this game. You can pretty much go out there and play with darn near any amateur. That's for dang sure.
and do pretty well, I might add.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one of those bonus parts. Even though you didn't reach your like ultimate goal, there ain't too many cats that you run into that are better than you. That's for dang sure.
Nope. And I like to hear a good thing called a money game. That typically ends up well.
Yeah, exactly. And ultimately, it's like this. Not everybody is going to be you, because they do have very different goals. But the big picture is that if you can get to the point of just kind of realizing and taking a step back for a minute and say, okay, hey, all right, I get it. There's a way to do this, and it is what it is, and so be it. Then we can get you through to that next phase, is what I call it now. For
Yep.
you, there's just another phase that you don't know exists yet. And it's better than just kind of poking at little bits here and there and hoping it might somehow maybe get you better. No, let's get you better. That's what I'm talking about. So, and that's kind of what I wanted Regan here to give us a little insight to, at least on a brief. We'll probably have you come back. Maybe we can do a part two and expand upon it some more. And
Cool.
but I think that it seems like even still today, well, and golf tech doesn't exist around here, so there's a lot of variables. But what blows me away is that in this golf instruction business, it seems like this is still somehow a new thing. And we're talking about when I started with golf tech, I mean, it was dang near, I don't know, 17 years ago, something like that. I don't know how long it's been. It's been a long time. Golf tech's been around for 25 years for crying out loud. And we got people that, somehow don't have this information. So that was the big part for today. And like I said, we'd love to have you back, of course, always. And especially to maybe go deeper, maybe pick out some specific subjects now that we've kind of gotten your, basic retelling of and all that kind of good stuff. Because I think it's important. I don't know. You all can tell me I'm wrong or right, and that's fine. But I do know that no matter what, for anybody who might be hopefully watching and hopefully getting a piece of this, is that I'm right up here down the road at the golf pub now, and while I don't have necessarily the whole golf tech setup, we got plenty available to us. We got the technology needed. Heck, back then he was using mirrors because he couldn't come up all the time. The feedback's an important part. The whole point is there's a process and anybody can do it. You just have to be willing to make a commitment. And if you can do that part, there's very little that is unattainable. Professional golf's a whole nother ballgame. That's a real tall goal. But I mean, making a big change, improving your game by a large amount. Regan was one of the biggest improvers by far, but he was dedicated and committed. And I think that's the number one thing by far. But you can tell me what you think on your closing here.
Yeah, no, I mean, with all due respect, I don't think anybody was going to outwork me, and that showed. That showed. If you guys want the results, you know, obviously seeing Ryan, that's the half of it, and then the other half's the work. But there's no question there.
And to follow that up real quick before we close out here, we only got a couple minutes. That's what made it easier to coach him too. I didn't have to go through the motions of like trying to motivate and figure out, I need you to do more this week. I need you to do it this way more. It was just come back, come back. And so we made it through the process in a relatively short period of time because of that. So having that commitment and that attitude and approach made my job just simply easier. And if it can be easier on my side, it's going to be easier on your side. So that's another, great little tidbit. So we're going to have Regan back for sure down the road. We're running out of time here, but I want to thank Regan for showing up and giving us his kind of little brief explanation there or experience. And I appreciate that time immensely. I hope everyone out there got something out of this. If not, it's simple. Come see me at the pub. Go to the comments section. I do this every time. Hit me up on Twitter, P45@KDG. Email P45knuckledowngolf@gmail.com. But leave comments, ask questions, ask Regan questions. If you got a question, I'll let him know. And then he'll come back and he'll answer it for you. But that's the thing. You got to reach out. You got to come talk with me. Come find out. And evaluations are free right now. So having that entire plan of what you would need to do to achieve and get to that major change in your golf life, that's free right now. So, and that's because I want a lot of people to be able to come in and experience the facility, see it, and understand what can we actually do? What are the possibilities here? And what's the truth behind it? What is the reality? So for now, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you very much, Regan. You're the best, and we'll be in touch soon. But for everybody out there, this is Ryan Carpenter with No BS Golf, presented by P45 Knuckle Down Golf. We'll catch you later, folks.